And it's a beautiful morning here in Peg City, here on Amateur Sports TV. It's Graeme Forsyth on Coffee with Graeme with your host. Well, it's Graeme Forsyth. I already said that. But today on Coffee with Graeme, hope you guys have your cup of joe and have whatever you guys are drinking today. We got a great guest on our show today. We got Sarah Normandeau joining the show. And Sarah, she's the Recreational Service Manager of the Town of Sainte-Anne. And today we got Sarah joining us right now. And Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Graeme?
I'm doing great. It's a pretty nice morning outside, pretty good weather, and you can't ask for anything more.
Oh, you sure can. It's beautiful out there.
So I've heard a lot that you're pretty fun personality, but personality-wise, who is Sarah Normandeau?
Oh boy, personality-wise, who am I?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just someone who likes to have a good time. I like to connect with people, and that's kind of what I do for a living. And right now, obviously, in these unprecedented times, it's hard. So, we're all trying, all us rec professionals are just trying to do the best we can to still maintain that connectivity with community and even friends, family, whatever we can do to play a part in whatever gets people through the day.
And did you play any sports growing up?
Yeah, actually, I played ringette. I played for, almost 23 years. And I played baseball. And yeah, I kind of dabbled in a lot of different sports, volleyball, a lot of different things.
Nice. And out of all those sports, which one do you prefer the most?
I like the ice. So anything
Yeah.
that has to do with being on the ice and skating is my favorite.
Yeah. Did you did you put any work off the ice in to get better at the sports you played?
Yeah, you know what? But I feel like I only really tapped into my athleticism after I graduated high school. Like I really only realized, I used to teach boot camps. Like I used to train through the Manitoba Fitness Council, and I used to teach. And that was, that's going 20 years ago. But that's when I really learned about fitness, athleticism, food, how important food is to fuel your body. And I think that's when I really noticed a huge difference.
So you kind of realized that as you grew, you realized that fitness, what you eat, what you put in your body is probably one of the most important things and one of the most underrated things about sports. Do you think that talking to young athletes now, athletes that are getting into the sports, like young athletes, do you think it's important to kind of preach that on them to treat their bodies well and get the right exercise?
It is, but it's tricky, right? Like I'm a coach as well, and I coach hockey, and I think that, yeah, that element is often more times than not taken out of the whole equation. I mean, look at the canteens that we have in our arenas. Like I'm a huge advocate for how unhealthy our canteens are. And that goes as far as our schools as well. Like I'm a big believer that those things can be healthier. It really is all about food, but I think we are the best example. And I have 3 kids, so they watch me in the kitchen, they watch me cook, they watch me make little tiny choices that add up in a day. And of course, we do give exceptions. Like I have a type 1 diabetic son who happens to be a hockey goalie. So food is everything. And we kind of went down that path. But I think we have to be careful with today's generation too, not to push them too far one way or the other, because it could be bad either way. But yeah, just being the best example that you can for them and showing them that you're doing it is, I think, the number one thing.
And with a family now, you got about 3 kids. I've read you're a coach, a politician, a leader in your community. So how difficult over time, well, at the start, how difficult did you find it to kind of find the balance between all those things?
Yeah, you know what? That's balance is hard. Balance is very hard. But you know what? I like to prove to myself that I can do hard things. And that goes in all genres of my life, whether it's fitness related or like I've ran the Manitoba Marathon 4 times, and I done it before I've had kids, and I shaved almost 20 minutes off my time after I had 3 kids. So there's goals that you can reach no matter what your age, no matter what you do. But balance is a tough thing. I think it's just not working on too many things at one time. But I think I don't do well if I'm not working on multiple things at one time. I think that's where I thrive. So, you know what? And I like to learn. I'm addicted to lifelong learning, and that doesn't just include, post-secondary education. I think that me being a politician, for example, I never thought that I would go down that particular road. However, I've learned an insane amount from it, and I'm building off of it, and I'm really enjoying it, actually. So and again, it's all about connectivity and connecting with people, and that's a leadership position that you're in, to do just that and connect with the people that you represent. And I think that's a big thing.
And growing up, you said you played a multiple amount of sports. What would you do on your pastime, just when you took a step away from the ice and just the field and all that?
It depends on what age I was, but we would rent a cabin every year at the lake. So I got really, like, my dad's he loved fishing, so we would go fishing a lot. We would do a lot of different things. My dad was a huge runner when he was my age, so I remember getting into that. I was the kid that liked to be outside. I loved to cut wood and pile wood, and I wasn't someone who liked to stay indoors. So I would be active without even realizing I was active. But as far as sports, I got into running early in high school, actually, and I really started to enjoy it, and that's when I found my love for it.
Well, I am having, for some reason, you cut out on my end, but I'm sure that everyone else can hear you. For some reason, we have been having problems like this once in a while on StreamYard, but we're just going to take a quick break, figure out these technical difficulties, and we'll be right back with Sarah Normandeau, and we'll talk more about kind of what she does and what she likes to do in her pastime and all that and more. But first, we're going to hear from our supportive sponsors, and we're going to take our first commercial break and get this sorted out on my end. Sarah, stay with us.
At Collins Hotel, we have you and your family's comfort in mind. Relax in one of our 16 suites featuring king or queen-size beds and 36-inch TVs. Suites also include a mini fridge and other kitchen appliances to make your stay as comfortable as possible. During your stay in Pilot Mound, visit Weiser's Restaurant, our attached family-friendly restaurant and bar. It is the perfect location to host group meals, dine with the family, or unwind after a hockey game. Come in and meet our friendly staff offering daily specials on food and drinks, wing night Wednesdays, buffet Fridays, and multiple TVs to watch the game. Weiser's is the place to be. Collins Hotel and Weiser's Restaurant and Bar, located across the street from Blackjack Stewart Arena off Highway 3 in Pilot Mound.
For the technical delays on my side, but here we got Sarah Normandeau back here on Amateur Sports TV. We were talking about what Sarah does in her pastime and who Sarah Normandeau really is. But now we're going to keep on kind of leading on that same path. So you're talking about how you got out to the cabin when you were young. Do you still have a cabin that you go to?
My in-laws have a cottage at Falcon Lake, so we spend our summers there every weekend usually. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The kids are now getting into the whole kneeboarding and wakeboarding and skiing thing, so it's a lot of fun.
Nice. That's always fun. And I also have a cabin in Falcon Lake, so I always know how nice it is to get out there. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So you're the Recreational Service Manager of the Town of Sainte-Anne. So when did you start as the Recreational Service Manager there?
Well, my coworker told me I had my 3-year anniversary about 2 weeks ago. So I've been there for 3 years. Since May 1st, 2017 was when I started.
And was it always something you always wanted to do, becoming a Recreational Service Manager?
Absolutely not. I didn't know I wanted to do it. Okay, well, here's a little story. I went to post-secondary education in human resource management, and I worked at Great West Life for a number of years, almost 10. And then when my middle son got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I kind of just thought, both of us, my husband and I, can't be working in the city. One of us needs to stay home. And it made more sense for me to be close to him. And then this position kind of just happened, and it happened very fast. And I started it, and I just really grew to love it. It was right up my alley. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
And what exactly is a recreational service manager? Like, what are the things that come with the job?
You know what? It is what you make of it, I think. A recreational services manager is someone who creates fun activities, workshops for people in the community. They listen to the people in the community, what they'd like. For example, we have a few different public parks that are coming up this year in the town of Sainte-Anne, which is really, really exciting. I'm also on the Sainte-Anne hockey board, so that's important. It's just to connect to all these different groups and help them as far as like connecting them to grants, funding, things like that.
Nice. And it's really what you make of it. So with your personality, how you like to have fun, you think that that's kind of benefited the success you've had at your job so far?
Oh, absolutely. It's, it's all fun. I don't think there's a day where I don't have a great time. If I'm, running a babysitter's course, it's fun. I love seeing the kids. Or if I'm running my day camps, it's fun. There's we have the community festival here. That's Labor Day weekend. It's called Dawson Trail Days. And that's a huge part of my position as well, coordinating that. And it's a great team of a lot of people that work together to pull that weekend off. And it's all of our nonprofit organizations in town essentially that come together and make that happen. So it's fun to be a part of it. And it's definitely not me, it's all of them. And I'm just a moving piece and help them kind of figure things out.
So you say those are the benefits of the job, just helping people out, being there for your community, and just having fun and as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? When I love event planning. So anytime I get to plan an event or plan a festival or plan a hockey tournament, even, I love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
And you say that's your favorite part of the job, is just kind of planning those projects and all that stuff?
Yeah, I really enjoy the logistics behind the position, I think. But equally, I like being right in the front line as well. So if I am at summer camp for a day playing extreme dodgeball with the kids, I'm having just as much fun. So I really do enjoy it.
So before this pandemic hit, the COVID-19 pandemic, it's put the whole world on pause, basically. Has the daily tasks of the job changed at all?
Yeah, they've changed a little bit. The whole distance thing, I came up with, right after this all happened, actually, I came up with the idea of creating a virtual reality Facebook group called Rock the Rec, where people can just come together and I wanted to prove that we could still do recreational opportunities, even if it was in a virtual sense. So that page consists of a whole bunch of us recreational professionals, whether we're artists or we are DJs or even cooks, coming on board, doing live videos, all kinds of things, sharing examples of different crafts and arts you can do with kids, keeping them busy. There's a lot of things on there. So that's kind of what I did first. So my position kind of went online for a little bit. And then I was doing a lot of backyard policy or back room policy things and procedures that I never had time for Dawson Trail Days and different things like that. So I definitely can keep myself busy for sure.
And so you're part of a pretty big board and pretty big board of members in the town of Sainte-Anne. How have you guys as a board kind of found a way to adjust to what the struggles of the pandemic have brought?
Oh, how have we found a way to adjust? You know what? It's just, if you roll with the punches, it is what it is, right? So we've all just kind of maintained the attitude that it is what it is. People are having a lot of fun in this community, doing a lot of different things. So in addition to Rock the Rec, we also have somebody created a really fun group, this whole wine ninja thing. It's taking off like crazy. You get a gift bag and you get a whole bunch of goodies and wine for people, and you go and you ninja them. So you go to their door and you knock on it and you run away and try not to get caught. That's crazy in this town right now. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, people are having a great time. But you know what? We're keeping up with the provincial standards, the provincial guidelines. We're always waiting for and kind of hinging on the next announcement from them, and just being responsible any way that we can and creating fun while we do it.
And it's nice that you guys are having fun, especially when times have been, they've kind of looked bleak during this time. And it's nice to see you guys as a town come together. But how nice has it been to see that positivity stay in the community during this time?
Oh, it's awesome. You know what? Even going outside, and I'm sure there's a lot of positivity going on, but there's a lot of people that are still, having a hard time. Like mental health is huge right now. And I think that that is going to be the forgotten piece, and I don't want it to be. So I think that's important to maintain that, to make sure that people are not alone and they don't feel alone, that they can reach out. Even if they're scared and they're in their house, they can still somehow come online and feel some sort of connection with somebody, right? But going outside and seeing the people that are, taking to the outside and going jogging and walking their animals. And it's nice to see that people are outdoors.
And if there's something that's been affected the most during the pandemic, what would you say has been the most affected thing?
Oh, definitely sports. Yeah. Absolutely. I would say, I'm the president of the Minor Baseball Association here in Sainte-Anne. And we're just waiting for the next decision from Baseball Manitoba to see if we can salvage any part of our season. But it's looking like we're possibly going to be moving toward a delayed season, if one at all. And then we might just be doing like a recreational for fun every Wednesday night, meet at the Diamonds, whoever can, keep the numbers low, social distancing, because baseball is a contact sport. So it's, it's going to be tough. And, hockey as well. Like, we don't know, obviously we start in the fall time, right? So we're not as worried about that right now, but should it get to that point where we need to worry about it, that's going to be something that's going to be really affected. But yeah, any kind of spring sports, like our entire soccer program here, I think is so far canceled. So yeah, it's very affected.
And you said you're the head of the board of minor baseball in the town?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start that?
A girlfriend of mine and I grew up playing baseball, and that literally was just us one day talking about how much we miss baseball and how much our kids would have loved it. So 5 years ago now, we decided to put a team together, and it kind of just grew from there. And I actually went over to Loeppky with my own kids and coached them for a year over there to learn as much as I could about the program that I was going to be implementing here in Sainte-Anne. And it just, it's grown from there. Now we have a board. We have quite a few athletes, actually. We have 3 levels of play. We have Grand Slam, Rally Caps, and Mosquito Age, U11. So yeah, it's getting really exciting every year. And actually this year we were talking about implementing a girls team as well. So it is getting very exciting. It's growing, and hopefully it sticks. It has so far.
That's great. That's great. And I'm assuming that it's competitive.
Yeah, you know what? Like, the Rally Caps is it starts with the whole fundamental thing, learning how to catch, how to throw, run bases. It's kind of like the fundamentals of baseball, the theory behind it, learning the bases. And that's always fun because you're dealing with 4 and 5, 6-year-olds. So it's about fun, right? And then you go into the Grand Slam league, and then you're playing other communities and other teams, and you're always changing positions. And there's only 6 kids to a team, so you don't have any outfielders. So they get the whole dynamic of the infield before they have to worry about the outfield. And then this year, my son goes into the Mosquito Age. So now you grow a little bit bigger, and you get to run more bases and kind of play the big game. So they were excited. So
nice.
Yeah.
And it's I think that's important that you kind of build those fundamentals early on, and as you get older and you progress, you make it to the big fields. It's really awesome that you're doing that. Have you been really happy with the growth that you've seen in the sport there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a slow growth, which I knew was going to happen. I didn't want it to grow too big too fast and then not be able to handle it. So sometimes we have 6. I think we've had 6 or 7 Rally Caps teams. We've had last year, I think we had 4 to 6 Grand Slam teams. And then this year we're implementing the new level of the Mosquito U11 age. So it is definitely growing. Kids are very excited about it. They love the sport. And we start usually middle of April. So it's really nice to get out there right after hockey's over and get things going. But unfortunately, we've had a different direction this year.
Yeah. And obviously the season is delayed, but are you guys planning on still, if things work out, continuing this season, like continuing the start of this season, just cutting it down a bit?
Cutting this, we're right now, I haven't made any official announcement. As soon as I hear from Baseball Manitoba and what their plans are, because we kind of hinge on what their plans are and what their decisions are, then we'll meet as a board and kind of discuss what the next step is for us. Do we delay the season and go into July? There's some people that don't want to because, you know, we live the cottage life and they want to be at the lake and all that kind of thing. So it might be more of a recreational season than we think, but we want to keep their skills up. I think that's important. So as the rules change and as we responsibly social distance, maybe we can still get the kids together and work on their skill development, their fundamentals. And this year, the mosquito age is very important because that's when you do pitching clinics. The kids get to learn how to pitch, and it's a step that you don't want to miss. So it's good fundamental building for them.
And you're a coach. You coach multiple sports. When did you start coaching?
I started coaching when I was 18, I would say. Like I would do skating camps, conditioning camps, and like I'm a conditioning coach actually for well, they used to call us power skating coaches. But yeah, I used to train some pretty big teams, and it was a lot of fun. But I started young, and I think that was important. Like our ringette team, we were meant to go out and do stuff like that and help out, and our coach taught us those things. So I think it just stuck with me, and I loved it. And I always knew when my kids got involved, I wanted to be involved. I didn't want to sit in the stands because I know how to skate and I love to teach. So it was, it's been a lot of fun. Every year I've been involved in some way since my kids have played. So yeah.
Nice. And which sports do you coach?
Right now I coach hockey. I don't coach baseball. I help out if they need, but I just run kind of the behind the scenes logistical stuff. But yeah, right now just hockey.
Nice. And which area do you coach out of?
Sainte-Anne.
Sainte-Anne.
Yeah.
So, which sport have you preferred coaching the most? Like, in what aspect? Not like the sport, but like, do you prefer being like a conditioning coach better, or being more involved than just a conditioning coach?
Well, that's a hard question. I really like the conditioning part of it. Like, I really like, taxing them, like fitness wise, athleticism wise. I really like, making them dig deep and understanding that, you only get out what you put in. Like I use that a lot. But for me, the bigger challenge for me was changing from ringette mind to hockey mind. So when I came over and my kids started playing hockey, it was a huge challenge for me because it was a whole new sport that, I love it, but I didn't know how to break down the different components of hockey like I did ringette to be able to teach it. So I had to learn all of those things. And I was really fortunate to learn from a couple of really great coaches I've been assistants to.
So you feel like learning from those coaches, learning from what they have to offer has made you a better coach as a whole. Absolutely.
I think once you think you know as much as you need to know, perhaps maybe you become complacent, right? So I think I'm always striving to learn and better myself and understand things and drills and the progression of drills. Like there's so much to understand. There's so much to learn, and there's always ways that you can learn them. And not just YouTube. It's like, we have a really, really good coach here who's a really good friend of mine. And often, like, I would go to his practices last year and videotape them. And that's how you learn. So, that's who I was the assistant coach of a couple of years ago and I learned from. So he's actually the head of our senior aces team, Kevin Lansard. So for me to be able to coach under him was a huge thing, because he is big on progression. You do one drill, and then you have another drill that complements that drill, and then a third drill that complements the first drill. And there's so much fundamentals there to learn that you won't learn if you don't go watch people who do it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always a big thing, I think, that it's so underrated that you can learn from so many great coaches, and you just gotta kind of put everything aside and see what they got to offer. What levels do you coach, Sarah?
I mostly have stuck with my daughter, actually. I really enjoy the girls' teams. I'm involved in all my kids' hockey, though. They're all on different teams. So this year I've coached Pee Wee. Last year I coached Pee Wee. The year before, I think I also coached her and Adam. But yeah, my son was on the Adam A team this year. Kevin was his coach. My husband coached with him, and I managed the team, so that was fun. And then I was a safety for my little guys team, who's in novice. So yeah, a lot of different levels there, but it's a lot of fun being involved and learning from all the different coaches, because they all got such great ideas.
Yeah. And so you've been involved with all your kids' teams, so I'm assuming girls and boys as well, just the girls and boys level as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So my daughter is in Pee Wee, and then she's gotten the opportunity to play on the provincial girls team for the last few years. So I coach the provincial girls team as well, which is huge for me. You know, being a woman and being a coach, I think it's important, and it's something I definitely wanted to get involved with. So coaching her has been an absolute blast. Getting to know the girls every year has been such a blast. So we've had a really good time.
And as the years have gone on, as you've been more involved in coaching women's hockey, how nice of it has it, because it is growing in Canada and just all around the world, the women's game. How nice has it been to see that change and see that growth in the sport?
Oh, it's been so nice. You know what? The girls are so excited about hockey. I mean, there's the tiny part of me that's sad that, you know, ringette is kind of, that was where I started, and I really wanted my daughter to learn it, but she loves her hockey and she loves her skating, and it is growing. Like even in Sainte-Anne, we have Bailey Bram, we have Jocelyn Larocque, we have so many up and coming. We have more coming up, Annie. We have Kirk, who's a goalie coming up. So she's got a really good chance of making it far too. So the joke in Sainte-Anne is if you're an athlete, don't drink the water. Far. So who knows who the next generation all-stars are going to be from here, but I can't wait to find out. I hope I coach some of them.
Yeah, that would be awesome to coach just some upcoming stars. That'd be great. So as you've grown as a coach, obviously things change, I'm assuming, but what have you been able to have you been able to kind of change your style as things have gone on as the game has grown?
Of hockey?
Yeah, just sports in general.
Yeah, you know what? I another lost piece of coaching that I think I grew up with. I think that it is not there's not a huge significant enough piece in it, is how we treat each other. You know what I mean? Like player with player, the respect on and off the ice, the respect to the coach. We can teach these kids fundamentals and skating and as many things as we want skill wise, but I think how to be a leader, how to be the right leader, how not to bully another player. I think that's huge, because we dealt with that this year, and I've seen it over the years being on the hockey board, and it's no joke. And I think that a lot of times we're forgetting that aspect of teaching our youth that treating other people with respect is huge. So I think that's number one, is we need to teach these kids. We need to go back to old school and teach these kids that you can't bully your way through the sport, whether you're good or not.
Yeah, and it's such a big thing, right? Just teaching that respect in sports. It's such a undervalued thing, I think, because we always look at the skill as one of the big things, but I think that the responsibility that we have as mentors out there and as coaches and as role models is such an important thing. How important do you think it is to build those first impressions?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, and I think it goes both ways. I think when you're coaching somebody, I think it's important to teach these kids and these youth like they are, talk to them normal. You know, I've seen, and I think we've all seen, if you grew up in sports, we've seen people that are leaders who like to talk down to youth, and I don't think that's it's not a fair thing. It's not a good thing to teach them, because then they grow up and they become coaches like that too. Like I teach empowerment to teams, and I've done that for years. I haven't done it for a little while. I've taught lots of all girl groups empowerment things, and it's huge when you become a good leader on your team. But I'm the kind of coach that believes that every single teammate can be a leader. So even at the Pee Wee level, I don't believe in captain and assistant at all, because I think that every single game, often I'll choose a different captain. I'll choose a different leader to lead the warm up, to lead all the different things, because they all deserve to build on those skills, because that can be later. I think, you know, captain and assistant captains are so silly at that age, and it becomes more of a popularity contest than anything. And there's more leaders in the room, and I think we just need to find them before, you know, those popular ones or those ones that we think are the best or so cool, or I want that to be the captain. You know what I mean? It's the one that's in the corner that often is the leader that is going to shine through eventually. But you know, you want to build those skills in a lot of different kids.
And that's really interesting you say that, because it's cool, because instead of just putting labels on kids at such a young age, you're letting them figure out who they are as a leader and as a personality out there, because there's always going to be quiet leaders. There's going to be leaders out there that are kind of louder. It's just, it takes time to kind of figure out who you are sometimes, and some kids find it from a young age. And I think that's awesome that you believe in that. Just let them figure it out on their own. I think that's really cool.
Oftentimes the leader in the room isn't always the loudest. And I think that's really important to remember, is that a leader leads by example, whether you're a mom, whether you're a coach, whether you're a player, whatever it is. It's always being in those situations and letting your integrity shine through. And I think there's multiple out there. And I've had some kids where I've been like, hey, buddy, it's your turn, go. And they're shy and they're shell shocked and they're kind of like, so you're building on the skills that they otherwise would not have been able to have at all, because they weren't the loudest, because they didn't talk first, because they didn't, you know what I mean? They're kind of quiet in the room, but often the best leaders.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to take our last commercial break of the show here. We're going to hear from our great supportive sponsors here at ASTV. But yeah, stick with us, Sarah, and we'll wrap things up after this commercial break. But it's been fun so far. But yeah, we'll hear from our supportive sponsors in just a second. And Graeme Forsyth back here on Coffee with Graeme with our guest, Sarah Normandeau. And Sarah and I have been talking about just her background in coaching, what she does as a recreational service manager for the town of Sainte-Anne, and just who Sarah Normandeau is. But I want to move into this. So I read this on your Facebook account, and just in general, my boss sent this to me, is that you were supposed to be participating in the Stars Rescue Sarah 2020 ball hockey tournament. So was this the first year of the tournament, or has it been going on for several years now?
It's the first year, because I got asked to be a participant on the Stars Island Rescue event, which happens every single year. It's their biggest fundraiser. They ask about between 5 and 7 people in Manitoba. I'm still baffled at why they asked me. But I'm really excited. So it was supposed to be in June. And as a participant and accepting, I committed myself to raising $50,000 for Stars, which is a foundation that I fully believe in. I think it's a wonderful thing that they do, and they need the help. So I enlisted in a team, obviously, mostly from Sainte-Anne, and we came up with all these different events before COVID-19 hit, and one of them was a ball hockey tournament to put on and raise money to help rescue me off the island. So that's kind of the whole thing behind it. But now the Stars rescue off the island got postponed until September, and then who knows, it might even be postponed further than that. So, but we're still obviously going to do it and run a lot of these events. We just, for numbers reasons and regulations, we can't right now, but it doesn't mean that we won't.
Nice. And if I'm not mistaken, they were going to fly you in on a helicopter to the event.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. Ace Burpee is actually one of the participants too. You know what? So I think you go to the hangar first thing in the morning, and then they actually drive you to a remote island, and you spend the whole day doing challenges. There's survival challenges, medical challenges, and fundraising challenges throughout the day. And then once you reach your $50,000 mark, you get rescued from the island. So yeah, the Stars helicopter comes in and picks you up from the island and takes you back to the hangar for the gala and dinner, where you get to talk about the day and how crazy it all was.
And that would be pretty awesome, just flying in a helicopter to an event. I've never heard anything like it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. You know what? It's pretty cool. But again, it's going to be interesting. I I don't claim to be a survival specialist nor a medical specialist, although I have a type 1, so I'm hoping that's one of the challenges. But whatever, it's for a great cause, so how could I have said?
Yeah. So just getting back to the tournament quick. So how easy would it be to enter a team into a tournament? Say I wanted to enter a team, how easy would that be?
Super easy. We had a lot of different, like all the logistics were pretty much done. We had the registration form. So really when we do decide to do it, it might be in fall. We don't know when the numbers are going to go up and we can have that many people in one space all at the same time. But yeah, we had a registration form. You would just enter a team or like a kids team. So we were doing adult teams plus youth teams. So it was going to be like a full day's event. It was going to be a huge thing. Yeah, entering a team wouldn't have been hard.
And how many divisions were there in the tournament, and what did those divisions consist of?
I think we were starting with 4 different divisions, 2 youth and 2 adult divisions. We weren't sure yet if we were going to do the adult divisions as mixed female-male or keep male-female. So, I mean, there was still some components left to decide and figure out. And then also it depended on the numbers. So if we got enough teams that were like 10 to 12-year-olds, then that would just make its own division. If we got 2 teams in the 8-year-old mark, then we would try to find 2 more teams to make sure that they could play each other. And so, yeah, it just kind of snowballs from there, but we kind of had to make the numbers work. But the divisions weren't set, and we had the space because we have the whole curling rink side of things, and then we had the whole arena side of things. So we had a lot of room.
Nice. And what was the sole reason for starting this event?
The sole reason for starting this event was we do tournaments really well. So a lot of us, like I have an amazing group of girls behind me. As soon as they found out that I was chosen to be the Stars participant, I was getting texts like crazy, like I'm in, what do you need me to do? It was super overwhelming. And these are like powerhouse, like organized, like logistical champions for this community. So if I'm going to make that $50,000, it's going to be because of those women, not because of anything that I've done. A few of them were, we just kind of said we run hockey tournaments really well, all of us. So let's run a tournament. This is what we do. So that was one of the things that was being planned.
And so you kind of hinted at it, was $50,000 the goal you were trying to, the amount of money you're trying to raise? Was that the goal, $50,000?
Yeah, $50,000, or I don't know, maybe they'd leave me there. I'm not sure. But yeah, the goal is $50,000. That the cost to put one participant on the island is like over $10,000.
Wow.
So it's overwhelming that when you get asked, it is a huge responsibility to try to make that $50,000 mark, because you really want Stars to be able to do well, right? And you really want you want to show up. You want to make sure that you can raise that money, and it's not a small amount, but it's definitely doable.
And what is Stars? What exactly is Stars?
So Stars Air Ambulance is an ambulance in the air. So when you have any sort of, you have a cottage at Falcon Lake too. So if somebody gets stuck on the Mantario Trail between Falcon and West Hawk, an ambulance normally can't get there. It's Stars that gets there first. So anywhere that ambulance can't go, they're there. Or if there's an accident on the highway, we've all obviously seen Stars, but they can get, it is the patient's best chance at survival, where those seconds really, really count, where an ambulance can't get you there fast enough.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great to see that there's other options than just your normal ambulance. Well, Sarah, it's been great talking to you today. Thank you for coming on the network today and just talking about what you do at the Town of Sainte-Anne and how you've come up as a coach and just the whole Stars Rescue event. That's really awesome. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Graeme.
Of course. We hope to talk to you soon, hopefully.
Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Take care. Well, that's Sarah Normandeau, and she is the Recreational Service Manager at the Town of Sainte-Anne. And man, I've been stumbling my words today, but hey, it's early. Give me a break. Can't be on all the time, but we do hope you guys enjoyed the show today, and it was an awesome episode as always, talking to another great guest here on Coffee with Graeme. And I haven't said this, I've always thanked our sponsors, but thank you for everyone that's tuned into the show and that's been tuning in during this time. Your support has been awesome, and once again, thanks to our supportive sponsors for supporting the show, because let's face it, without you guys, none of this would be possible. And once again, guys, stay safe and stay healthy during this time. We're all going to get through this pandemic together. And I've been your host for Coffee with Graeme, Graeme Forsyth. And until next time, I'm signing off. Have a good one.